Hey everybody, and welcome to episode 3 of season 2 of the Trinisphere. I am Squire 1, the resident Johnny, joined by
Nikki Bolus, the Timmy,
and
Snapmaster. What's up?
Spike.
Yeah, he's a Spike.
They didn't get obviously. they didn't get that.
You could probably pick that out.
So today we are going to talk about some Rivals of Ixalan. We've all gotten a chance to play with it in pre-release.
That's true, we did.
And we're going to talk about some EDH implications there.
Yeah.
We are brought to you, as always, by tappedout.net. Check them out for all of our profiles and decks, as well as other great content and a deck building resource. So, moving right into it, the first thing we're going to talk about is mechanics. We have a lot of returning ones, so we're probably going to go through these pretty quickly because we've seen a lot of this before.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Raid, this is what, the third set that this has been in?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so.
Third or fourth. It was in Tarkir
in
2 sets.
Is this officially Evergreen or no?
No,
not Evergreen.
Okay, cool.
Just shown up a lot.
So Raid is basically just if you attacked this turn, something happens.
Yeah.
So what do we think of Raid in general for EDH play?
I personally think that it adds an interesting element because it gives you a plus side to attacking.
Yeah.
So it takes away from it has an effect and it takes away from decks that have no creatures. So control decks cannot play raid cards.
Right.
But I do feel like those aggressive decks or those decks that are even just I really don't want to attack. Who do I attack? Hey, you gonna block?
Yeah.
I feel like it adds an element as in a plus side.
Yep, I agree. I think Raid does a really good job of promoting interaction with other players in the form of attacking. It forces people to attack. Even sometimes you get these games where people refuse to attack each other because they want to hold back. But Raid is a mechanic that promotes aggressively interacting with the opponents.
I overall would say that I generally like the Raid mechanic. I like very few cards.
There's no insane Raid card.
Right. But the mechanic overall is good. I hope Wizards keeps using it. It's great for beginning players.
Keep trying, Wizards.
It teaches them attack and cast stuff.
Yep.
So keep pushing Raid. I think it's a good mechanic. Enrage was in the last set. It was in Ixalan. So we'll start with you. What are your thoughts on Enrage?
I love Enrage. I think it's a really cool mechanic because it's a dynamic between dealing damage to your own creatures, promoting the fight mechanic, which is one that's kind of a little bit weaker, but now is much more powerful. And then, of course, it makes it really difficult to block in combat because you're giving the opponent extra advantage. So Enrage, I think, is a really cool mechanic. I like it a lot.
What's your take on Enrage?
Not a huge fan, honestly, because typically the Enrage mechanic is attached to some sort of dinosaur or something like that. So overcosted for its effect, and then you have to specifically deal damage to it. I will say that Enrage creatures usually kind of implement a very weird wall. It's got a pseudo death touch almost. It's do I attack into
it's definitely a deterrent for
exactly. For attacking and blocking, exactly.
Yeah.
So I can appreciate that much about it, but it's almost like a weird evasion.
Right.
But overall, I do not really appreciate it because it has something to do with a big beefy creature that has some mediocre effect for me.
Yeah, I see your point, but I actually really like Enrage. I can't believe that it's taken us 25 years to get that mechanic. It seems like a no-brainer for design.
Unfortunately, the way it was designed, it's definitely coupled to dinosaurs, and it probably won't see it again in different design space.
I mean, I think that's true. We may not see it again for quite some time. Yeah. I do like it. I think that it is splashable, even though it's coupled with dinosaurs right now. Yeah. I think you don't have to play it in a dinosaur tribal deck. Yeah, there's a lot of really
Ripjaw Raptor's insane. It's just an insane card.
Yeah, Ripjaw Raptor's insane. Trapjaw Tyrant's not bad. Yeah. We've got the Combo King that we'll talk about a little bit later.
Sorry.
So I think Enrage is really cool. I think you're definitely going to see some Enrage cards in EDH. I don't think you're going to see a ton of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
So flip cards again. We've seen this quite often now. What did it start in Innistrad?
Innistrad is when we had the first flip card. It was a Garrick, right?
Yeah, the werewolves. Yeah,
the werewolves. Right.
Garrick and werewolves. Sorry.
Yeah, Garrick and werewolves. And then we saw it when we went back to Innistrad. We saw it in Magic Origins, and now we're seeing it again in this block. I hated the idea of flip cards when they came out. Mm-hmm. I think with the majority of Magic players,
I was very confused. Yes,
it was very confusing. Completely sold. The walkers that flip, these flip enchantments, all of it. It's an easy mechanic.
Yep.
It's a little bit of a pain in draft because of the transparency.
Yep.
But generally speaking, it's very good. You're going to see flip cards in EDH just be aware of how they work.
And you got to deal with it now.
Yeah. Right. Any other comments on flip cards?
Yeah, I want to throw it out there. I'm very torn between it because I absolutely hate the mechanics of flip cards. But I love what they're trying to do, which is get some of those like reviseless cards reprinted and reformed, but with a kind of a balancing factor. But I absolutely hate having to draft little like cheat sheets.
The check cards.
That is one of the. It feels like awful design to me. I hate having to take my card out of my sleeve and flip it over. All these things I loathe, and I feel like they're bad design. But I really appreciate them trying to bring reviseless cards back.
Well, it's either that or the flip cards from Kamigawa.
Those are slightly better, but they're awful as well. Yes. Absolutely.
All right, so the next mechanic is loosely a mechanic, which is the tribal theme. So we got vampires, we got pirates, we got dinosaurs, we got merfolk. My personal take before I throw it to you guys, glad they went tribal, hate the tribes they chose. Like, dinosaurs and pirates just didn't need... At some point in Magic's future, we needed a dinosaur set. People were begging for it. At some point, we needed a pirate set. People were begging for it. Throwing all of this together, I think, was a bit too much, in my opinion.
Weird, like, combination of
people, and I don't think it actually adds... dinosaurs can now be a legitimate EDH set.
Dinosaurs got all the good stuff.
Vampires got a few toys.
I like the fact that they kind of like threw some stuff at vampires finally. Since Innistrad, we've gotten like real ones.
Yeah. I think Merfolk got a couple bumps. It's not amazing.
I wouldn't even say bumps.
It's broken into green now, so it's...
They did get a 2-mana Lord, which is interesting.
Yeah, that's strong.
Pirates are just as bad as they ever were.
Pirates got no love. They got one decent rare, but it's very sad for all those people holding out for Admiral Beckett Brass.
They did make that one pirate that says ETB, someone sacks a permanent, or your opponent sacks a permanent or something like that.
Sure.
Which kind of like throws way back to like the old, like
the Rishadons.
The Rishadons. The issue with this one is this one's red, so you can't play in like Brago to flicker after red. So it's like it doesn't have to do a whole lot for EDH, but it's funny that they brought back the whole sack a permanent.
So tribes, I mean, you're going to see more of these cards. There's some lords and things like that. You're definitely going to see these in EDH.
Guys, don't waste your time on the black-white vampire or the pirates.
Yeah, I mean...
If you want dinos or you want merfolk, go for it.
Yeah. And then the last mechanic, which is a new mechanic, is Ascend. Which is if you have, at any point, 10 or more permanents, you get the city's blessing, and then things happen based on the city's blessing.
Yeah. This sounds like a cheese mechanic to me. Like... I mean, we're playing EDH, so 10 permanents is pretty easy. But
easy.
Still, the benefits of these cards are fairly mediocre. They're not worth the downside of the first early game mechanic.
There's one notable one.
Oh, I'm sure there's probably a couple of them.
There's one that I can think of. There might be a couple, yeah.
But overall, I think the mechanic, it feels a lot of like it should have been in the Explorers of Ixalan game. One of these mechanics that really should not have been in a main core set. It's kind of silly when it comes to like competitive play.
Right. Your take?
On Ascend?
Yeah.
I don't like most of the cards they printed with it. Yeah. This may not be the first... this may not be the last time we see Ascend, so there may be some more to it eventually. However, I think it's weak in comparison to EDH purposes, what they've shown so far.
Yeah, there's not going to be many Ascend cards, in my opinion, that you see in EDH, though triggering Ascend or activating Ascend or whatever we're going to call it.
Getting the blessing.
It's probably, I think it's trigger.
Yeah, being hashtag blessed is going to be very easy.
Very easy.
Yeah.
Still not probably worth slotting one in the 99.
I mean, we'll get there. Yeah. So, Ascend, lukewarm. I think it was a lazy design, though.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not. So, let's get into the legendary creatures and the likelihood of seeing these either in the 99 or at the head of a deck. So, first one up is Azor the Lawbringer. Mm-hmm. 2 generic, 2 white, 2 blue for a 6/6 flyer. When he enters the battlefield, each opponent can't cast instant or sorcery spells during that player's next turn. And whenever he attacks, you may pay X white, blue, blue. If you do, you gain X life and draw X cards. Go for it, Spike.
Awesome, sweet. Shitty build around.
Yeah.
He's got a Sphinx's Rev on a stick, so you attack.
Yeah.
Don't care about that. what I care about is this ETB effect. Instant shoe in a 99 on Brago.
I like it.
Okay.
100%
Absolutely
in
punishing your
Brago,
opponent.
ETB every turn.
Right.
Cannot cast instant short spells.
Man.
Good luck.
Yep.
Hard pass.
I think it's a really good Sphinx. It's a really good entry into the Sphinx tribal deck.
Yep.
I like it a lot. It could be the head of a deck because, who doesn't like Sphinx's Revelation?
Right. I like Sphinx's Rev. I really want to build something around this because my Azorius slot's kind of open. It's just it's not that good.
This would actually be better than the Sphinx you have in your Azorius slot.
Yeah, absolutely.
You should
Well,
play
the whole deck needs to be rebuilt, but Asperia's bad.
Go ahead and throw Asperia in the trash.
All right,
and
so you
build
toss that hot soup in the garbage.
So I think you're going to see this card. I think people initially, whenever a new set comes out, right?
You see a lot of it.
You see a lot of whatever the new commanders are.
Yep.
So you're going to see it. I don't think it's going to have a lot of lasting power,
I
other
agree.
than the Brago.
No, I think the Brago thing has a lot of application.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you don't play that, I think you're silly.
I may be silly.
I'm saying in Brago,
Oh,
but you're not playing
I
Brago.
don't play Brago.
Yeah, because you play bad cards.
All right, so next card up
Correct.
is Kumena, Tyrant of Erazka.
Hashtag Bay.
That was in our recent episode, wasn't it?
It was in one of our recent gameplays.
Yeah.
Our
Commander versus
Rivals of
Lenda
Ixalan.
versus Zakama.
Yep. This is a 2/4 Merfolk Shaman for 1, a green and a blue. It has 3 abilities. Tap another untapped Merfolk you control, and it becomes unblockable. Tap 3 untapped Merfolk you control, draw a card.
Awesome ability.
Yeah,
Tap 5
that's
untapped
pretty
Merfolk
powerful.
you control, and you put a +1/+1 counter on each Merfolk you control.
Okay, sure.
Kinda, yeah. Whatever. Late game, maybe.
Ship it. Come on.
I like the draw card, but I don't care about this card at all.
Just ship it to me. I'm the one who built it. Ship it.
Yeah, go for it.
Awesome.
Talk about this.
Card's hot soup. No, anyways. Okay, so realistically, if someone sat me down and said, I'm gonna put a gun to your head and said, build a Merfolk General with blue green, he'd be it.
Aren't there only 3 options?
There's only 3 options. Okay, the point is,
Tashana's pretty good.
No, hear me out. Him and Tashana both go wide.
Yeah.
So I think they work very well and they're interchangeable. So if you ever feel like building a blue-green Merfolk deck in the future, especially with the new set coming out, him or the other one. This guy apparently just hit a price tag of $25.
Yeah,
so if you wanna go
he's a hot ticket.
yeah, if you want to go towards Tashana, that's fine, 100%. But they're both interchangeable. Like the same deck, the same dude. It's easy. It's just go wide, play a bunch of Merfolk, and you kind of just go there. You guys watch the video, you'll see what happens.
I think either way, like it goes in the 99 of a Merfolk deck if you're playing both colors, or you can put it at the head. It's gonna be decent.
It's gonna be decent
both
regardless.
Situations. So
yeah, I definitely agree. It's a pretty decent commander. I like Tashana more, but that's because it's more splashy and it has more effect in the board state. But that's a more low to the ground, effective commander at getting value each and every turn.
Yep.
So.
all right, so next up is Alenda, the Dusk Rose. Alenda is 2, a white and a black for a legendary vampire knight, and it is a 1/1. It has lifelink. Whenever another creature you control dies, put a +1/+1 counter on it, and when it dies, you create X 1/1 white vampire tokens with lifelink equal to its power. I'll start with this one because I played this one in that episode.
You call it playing?
So, I was personally not super impressed with Alenda.
Nor were we.
Not saying that the deck was optimal that it was in. I think it leads toward the strategy that I was going for, which is an aristocrats type strategy. Or this is not bad in just general tribal vampires. It is also not great. It is a 4 mana, do nothing 1/1.
No ETB effects.
No ETB
Right.
effect.
No activated
no
abilities,
impact on the
nothing.
battlefield except for 1/1 lifelinker.
Right. So not great. It
For
is
4 mana.
It is definitely meant to do the combo that I was searching for.
Oh,
It
yeah,
never happened.
Absolutely.
But I don't think you get at 3 mana. I would be really excited about this.
Yeah,
card.
oh, absolutely.
But 4 mana,
4
just
mana.
feels bad.
No.
Or make it a 2/2 or 3/3. Like I don't know. Something was
off.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I will agree. It's almost like this weird, like for you specifically,
Yeah.
not for me. I'm speaking in your terms.
Yeah.
It's like a weird cog that kind of just like was crafted wrong.
Yeah, or odd. Yeah.
Yeah, like it's something
is
like
just,
you're forcing too many pieces together, and it's like I fell short.
Yeah, should it be like a 1/4?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah, as a 1/4 it'd be fantastic because then at least you can effectively interact with your opponents in the early game.
At that rarity, I feel like I look at rarity and I look at
Mythic. It's a little much.
Yeah, so, honestly, as a 4-mana 1/1, you're looking to play this in the turn you want to win the game with your combo pieces assembled.
So overall,
it is a cog in a combo engine.
Overall prediction, I think this is going to be in the 99 in Vampire decks.
Yeah,
that's about it.
I think it might be a 99 in some Athreos style like sack decks. But
yes,
either way, it also might get cut because it's just not good enough.
Yeah, that's true. All right, next
up. Jesus!
Unflappable.
Next up is Zatalpa Primal Dawn. 6 generic white for a 4/8 Elder Dinosaur. Flying, double strike, vigilance, trample, indestructible.
Oh yeah.
This guy is the keyword soup.
Oh yeah.
And it is not Avacyn, so yeah, go ahead.
2 comments. 1, Morrow probably designed this card. 2, it's not Avacyn. Pass.
Avacyn, I'm thinking about like Baneslayer or maybe even Stinks of the Steel Wind, which are like the Achroma. Absolutely.
The keyword
soup.
Yeah,
but at 8 mana, at a 4/8, this thing is absolutely an underpowered version of Avacyn. Even though it has indestructible, it does not give your board indestructible. It deals 8 damage on combat. What do you get? You get trample. That's about it.
Yeah.
Maybe vigilance. I can't remember if the other one has vigilance. So this guy is not great.
So.
Not great.
Right, actually. Flying vigilance.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm pretty sure I was
flying vigilance trample, right?
Yeah. No, it doesn't have trample, but that's it. Yeah, so like, meh.
Oh, and this has double. It has double strike. So if you want to Voltron an 8 mana commander, just don't.
Right.
Voltron an 8 mana commander.
Well, and that's it. Like, I mean, this is super high costed. This is not a commander. This is maybe a 99 if you're really reaching.
Yeah. Gishoff, fantastic, because if you can cast this guy for free.
Yeah, I guess in Odric.
If you can cast this guy for free in Gishoff, absolutely fine.
No bueno. You should not play that in EDH.
All right, next up.
Next up is going to be Nezahal Primal Tide. Nezahal is 5 blue for a 7/7 Elder Dinosaur. Nezahal cannot be countered. You have no maximum hand size. Whenever an opponent casts a non-creature spell, you draw a card, and you can discard 3 cards to exile it and return it to the battlefield tapped under your control or its owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. Thoughts, Timmy? I think all the Elder Dinosaurs, we're going to have to start with you.
Oh yeah, absolutely. This one is actually one of the better, I think. It can be the commander of a deck because it reads a little bit like an Aetherling. Like it's an evasive commander. It's hard to deal with in a kind of control shell. And he is the win con of that control shell. So he's pretty good. He can't be countered, and he's actually hard to remove. And then also when they try to remove him, you draw a card. He seems pretty good for a control deck win con.
Sorry, I'm going to have to do the polar opposite and disagree with you. This guy's trash.
So I'm going to go hard in between. And I like aspects of this card. I don't think that it's a good commander, personally.
I don't either.
I could see it as a control finisher in the 99. A draw engine because people are going to be casting non-creature spells a lot, so you're definitely going to be drawing some cards. I just don't love it. It's not like it's not a great cog or it's not. I don't see the machinations. I don't see the cranks.
Right. Yeah. Not for Johnny. Not for Johnny.
My 2 comments are: 1, it does not have hexproof. 2, it does not have flash.
The flash would be amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, because you have to disadvantage yourself to make it live. It can't be countered. Cool.
I mean, you're playing a 7/7 for 7. Like you're not.
I get
7 for 7 that draws you a card every time they try and kill it. So it actually is only discard.
I mean,
2.
sure.
But either way, we can I mean, we can agree to disagree. I think it's more of a Timmy card.
I agree with you on that specific aspect.
All right, next Elder Dinosaur is Tetsuma.
Can we just not talk about him?
Primal Death. Why would we not talk about him?
Well, because in EDH, he is unplayable as a commander.
As a commander.
Yeah. Well, in a Dino Tribal deck, he is also unplayable because he's black, and Dino Tribal is Naya.
Do we think that he's just bad in the 99? Let's read what he's done. He's a 6/6 for 6. With Death Touch, and he basically blows up your opponent's stuff after you mark them with prey counters. Mm-hmm. Are we?
I actually like him in the 99 of some decks because I feel like he's kind of like a political card. He's kind of like
right.
He's like
don't.
Hey, by the way,
don't.
It's in my hand.
Don't.
Right.
Yeah. Because do you remember forecast the mechanic?
Okay, that's the problem.
This is a forecast.
Yeah.
This is a black
this is
forecast.
a shitty forecast. If it didn't say on your turn,
it is on your turn.
I would be behind this card.
Yeah, it is on your turn. Okay, so it's a iffy.
It's like a bye, Felicia.
Yeah,
for funsies.
There's better board wipes in black, is what we're saying.
But there's also better cards of that mana. It's called Grave Titan. Learn.
All right, moving on. We've got Atali Primal Storm.
Love it. This card is great. I definitely want to build around this guy as a mechanic. Be careful if you're going to build around Atali because a lot of the extra attack cards refer to you casting them in main phase, which means they do not work with Atali. So you got to be careful. Don't use Fury of the Horde. All these cards. Be sure that the ones you're using do not refer to being cast in the main phase, or else they don't trigger when you hit them off of Atali. But other than that, I love playing other people's cards. It's very mana efficient at 6 mana, 6/6. It triggers on attack, which means no harm done, even if it does get removed or they block it. So you get a lot of value. It's kind of one of those cards that lets you play other people's cards, which is a lot of fun in EDH.
Yep.
I'm not paying 6 mana for a 6/6. That is nothing on ETB.
I mean, there is that. You're probably going to be able to give him haste. Does that help?
Yeah. Red is known for that.
No?
Because a lot
no
of
sneak
times
attack?
it's called... Wait, wow, you can't sneak attack your commander.
Yeah. It'd be more like anger.
I'm thinking
fervor.
99. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. In 99, even then, I guess if you're playing in at least a 4-man pod, the value off a 6 mana, or even, I guess, a 1 mana spell at that time,
right.
that's fine. Of a sneak attack deck, or like I guess...
Felden.
No, I would say Felden, yes.
Yeah,
Felden,
I'm probably
yes.
going to put this in Felden.
Felden, definitely.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Giving it haste like naturally is awesome.
Yeah. And then just being able to do that.
Does Felden give things haste or no?
Yeah, it does.
Oh, then, yeah,
100%.
Yeah. In the 99 Felden, I would put that in there.
Do we want to read it?
No. I mean,
okay.
Even if it doesn't, I mean...
Okay, it's up on the screen.
You're up on the screen. You're up on the screen.
There.
It'll be up on the screen somewhere.
There.
Director Matt will take care of that. All right. Next one we've got is Galti Primal Hunger.
Timmy Showcase. This is a 12/12 that could cost 2 mana.
It could cost 2 mana.
It's a 12/12 with trample that could cost 2 mana.
Yeah, because in this world we're going wide and tall at the same time.
Easy.
We're building a token deck that goes up.
Galta, it's not super exciting to me because it is, in fact, at the end of the day, a 12/12 trampler, which is not the most exciting thing. It's huge, it's dangerous, it does commander damage, but it's something that everyone would build around. But I imagine a lot of people do, and it will be pretty hilarious, making a 2 mana 12/12.
It's a big dude, don't care. It's just a big dude.
Yeah.
Ironically enough for me, it's a Timmy card. This is one of the better Elder Dinosaurs in my opinion.
Yeah, it is probably the top two.
Because
I think Atali and this are the top two.
In my opinion, this guy can be cast very, very early, and he is a 2-hit kill. That's how I look at him. I think of all the big green creatures you get for very cheap and how fast green accelerates. I've played in an Azusa deck before. Azusa deck.
Yeah, this could come out turn 4, turn 5. Yeah.
Very early, and with haste technically.
Yeah. All right. And the last one, Zakama Primal Calamity.
I played this one in the previous episode. It was Zakama versus Alanda versus, what is it, Zumena? What is it?
# Naya Control.
This guy is pretty crazy. You look at a 9 mana 9/9, you're like, yeah, that's not going to affect the board state. But
but it
all
does.
of his abilities are fantastic in a control shell. In a Naya control shell, who'd thunk? So also this guy is a fantastic combo commander. You play him with Timur Sabertooth or Cloudstone Curio, and you are going infinite. You're going infinite with a commander. The commander easily goes infinite with a lot of other pieces. So you can either do that, or you can just use him as a Naya control commander. I can't say that again. Naya control. This is him. This is it.
Yeah. I disagree in that this is a Naya combo commander. It is a Naya combo
the Johnny
commander.
says combo first. Okay.
Yeah. This thing is insane. There's so many combos with this. Like you mentioned, Timur Sabertooth, Cloudstone Curio, anything that's going to bounce this, and you have just 1 extra mana. And
you've already got
infinite. Go infinite. You kill all the things. You gain all the life. It's beautiful.
I will say,
beautiful.
if you remove the one line of text that says if you cast from your hand,
that is absolutely busted. Get out of here.
No. What I'm saying is if you remove that line of text that says he untaps all your lands, he's just garbage.
Oh, absolutely. This card's unplayable. No one would agree to tap out.
Yeah.
Tap 9 mana for a 9/9 pass.
Honestly, the fact that
generic 9/9.
Okay, so like
pass turn.
Just being in that game though, like was brutal because being able to untap all your nonsense.
Oh, I lit so many people.
It's real good.
All right, well, you guys want to go over a few of the cards that
EDH mentionables? Perhaps?
Yeah, EDH mentionables.
All right, so next up are the cards that you might see around EDH. So first one going to be Angrath the Flame Chained. So
Metal.
Angrath is a planeswalker, obviously. In Rakdos, we only had one previously.
Yeah.
He's a 5 mana, and he comes in at 4. His +1 is each opponent discards a card and loses 2 life. Hey, they learned something. No. Each opponent.
Yeah, finally.
It's like their first EDH.
Yeah. -3, gain control of target creature until end of turn. Untap it, gains hit. You know, it's a threaten effect, and then you sack it if
it's tiny.
It's tiny. If its mana cost is 3 or less. His -8 is each opponent loses life equal to the number of cards in his or her graveyard. I mean, I'd say that's probably a game winner.
Yeah,
by the time you get that off.
Yeah.
Ryan,
what?
Snapmaster, whatever.
You said a hard
whatever that. He's like Snapmaster.
Snapmaster.
There's a Snapmaster.
So, yeah. What do you think?
Go on.
+1, dope. Everything else, kind of ass.
Fair enough.
Okay, no, honestly, so in a black-red deck, this is exactly what we want to see. He has the ability to threaten, which I kind of like. His minus is really mediocre, right? Like, I'm sorry.
The minus is a threat. It's a threaten, so it's...
No, it's his ultimate.
Oh, his ultimate is he loses life equal to the number.
Yeah.
Each opponent
if you manage to mill
cards or creatures?
Cards in graveyard.
Okay, cards.
Zoink.
I don't like his ult. His plus though, the fact that he comes in on 5, he pluses up to basically like a weird what's that one card? Makes everyone discard 2 cards. Unnerve.
Yeah, Unnerve.
Yeah, he's like a weaker Unnerve, but he lets him lose life. This is a slug.
It's kind of like a Skull Rend.
He's a Skull Rend. I'm sorry. He's a slug.
Because Skull Rend does the damage.
But he's a Skull Rend that comes in and sticks.
Yeah, absolutely.
So he's like a really good like Mogus.
Right.
Card.
Yeah, and add to Group Slug in general.
I'm a fan of Slug because I like making people's lives miserable, but he would definitely be in the 99. I think I could cut a crappy card for him.
Timmy?
Yeah, absolutely. This is a great upgrade for Rakdos decks all around. Makes a discard.
Yeah.
Has a element of control. It passes the doubling season check, although that won't really come up when you're playing a Rakdos.
No. I mean, maybe Jund.
But he's pretty good for the whole discard mechanic in Rakdos, which is basically what they got going on in EDH.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to see a lot of play, but you might see it around. I think this next one will actually see a lot of play. So,
will it?
Huatli Radiant Champion.
Hotly.
4 mana Selesnya commander, comes in at 3. It pluses 1. Its +1 is it gets more loyalty equal to the number of creatures you control. Its -1 is you make something bigger equal to the number of creatures you control until end of turn. And its emblem for -8 is whenever a creature enters the battlefield, you draw a card. Under your control. Yeah.
So just like a Zendikar Resurgent, but half of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're all just staring at it. We're like,
no.
What is missing?
So
is there another part of this card?
No. So I mean, I honestly do think that this is playable in a hard token deck. Meaning, if you're playing Risk the Redeemed,
I see.
This is going to tick up to 12 when it comes into play.
Yeah.
Right. And then
that
pretty much defends itself.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you can get off the -8, then you're drawing tons of cards.
Oh yeah.
No, we're not.
Oh no, you haven't lied at any point in time.
Yeah, I mean,
but even as a Timmy, even as a Timmy, this card seems win more than I'm willing to accept.
All right, it's a little win.
This card requires so many pieces in place to be a functionally effective enchantment.
I actually don't like this card.
Yeah, it does a ton of things, but it requires you to have already done a ton of things, and I think that is not a thing you're willingly able to risk.
You will see this card in play.
No.
Oh, absolutely, and then I also see it more times often than not do nothing.
You're gonna see it do a whole lot of nothing. You're gonna see it a lot of times in the graveyard because it did nothing.
Also, I will enjoy the many times where it -1s.
The minus one is garbage
for no effect, or it rolls its loyalty up. And passes turn.
Well, there's gonna be a lot of that.
And pass the turn.
What? Okay, so Gave maybe because Gave is a token check. But what green-white shell wants this?
I mean, I don't know. Well, I think Risk probably.
Risk is probably the only one who's willing to try this one out.
Gave doesn't care about this because Gave is a common deck.
Yeah. Okay.
Tristani probably doesn't care about this card at all.
Tristani doesn't. I don't think so.
Yeah.
All right. So next up, we have the first of our legendary enchantment flip cards.
Let's talk about
some Path of Metal. Let's talk about some Path of Metal.
Can you just give a quick synopsis?
Huh?
Quick synopsis.
Boros pass.
Boros pass. That was your statement. It was not like never play this card ever. Pass. Okay, continue. Please read it.
What's it flip into?
By all means, please read the card.
Right,
so
even more garbage than that? Because that's pretty fucking bad.
So
you have to imagine the other side is tap to win the game because that shit is terrible.
So Path of Metal is Boros for casting cost, for a legendary enchantment. When it enters the battlefield, it deals 1 damage to each creature that does not have First Strike, Double Strike, Vigilance, or Haste.
Got him. You just nuked all the tokens.
Yeah. Whenever you attack with at least 2 creatures that have First Strike, Double Strike, Vigilance, or Haste,
keyword.
You transform it.
Okay.
When you transform it, you get a land that says add a mana of any color to your mana pool.
Okay.
That part is good.
That's pretty good.
Or you can pay 1 in a red, tap it to deal 2 damage to each opponent. That's middling at best.
I mean, it's a decent land.
It's a bad Shivan Gorge, or it's a decent Shivan Gorge, right?
We're talking about EDH here because 2 mana tap.
Yeah. And then 2 and a white tap. Choose a creature at random that attacked this turn and destroy that creature.
This thing went straight into the dumpster.
Yeah, that was real bad.
How did it get worse after the deal?
Super bad.
I thought this was wait. It adds any color of mana to your pool.
Yeah,
that is actually the best part about this card.
So the whole point is to get a mana confluence that doesn't do any damage on the flip. Everything else.
But meanwhereal, you played Boros Legionnaire and all its ilk. In order to activate this card.
Look, I'm gonna count this as a win.
What?
Here's why I count this as a win. This is a win. This is a win.
A win.
This is why it's a win. This is a win for Wizards because they have continued the trend of Boros sucks in EDH.
They did it.
They nailed it.
They suck ass.
Got there, fam.
Thanks, Watsy.
That's real bad. All right, next one is Hadana's Climb. Hadana's Climb is 1, a green and a blue for a legendary enchantment. At the beginning of combat on your turn, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. Then, if that creature has 3 or more counters on it, transform Hadana's Climb. So, first off, super easy to flip, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
I mean, So, this is going to flip. Let's see if it's worth.
Let's do it.
All right. Add 1 mana. You get
the Winged Temple of
Arazka
says.
I apologize. Says
it's a bird.
It says add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool, or you can pay 1, a green and a blue, and tap it to give target creature you control flying and +X/+X, where X is its power, until end of turn.
It is a Kessig.
Yeah. It is a Simic Kessig.
It is a So playable, pretty niche. I mean, you have to be like +1/+1
deck.
Absolutely.
One deck.
Let me interject real quick.
Go ahead.
This card is gonna make me build a Zuri again.
Zeriak.
I'm gonna go build a Zeriak
Yeah,
because of this card.
Claw of Progress.
Yeah.
Yeah, Claw of Progress.
No, that's
that and the new one,
Yeah.
the new enchantment that says whenever your creature enters the
Yes.
battlefield, explore.
Yeah. Yep.
You could put those two cards. Make me want to build a Zeriak.
Yeah. I've thought about putting it in Voral. I don't know.
Yeah,
that
yeah, double counters.
It's decent. It's not amazing in there, but yeah, okay. Not super excited about it. Seems more like a
It
Voltron
goes.
type build.
It's one of those cards that goes into one deck.
Yeah. But not bad. I mean,
There's a lot of blue-green counter support.
There's
over
a
the,
lot.
over the
Yeah,
ages.
yeah,
Like
absolutely.
there's like you will get to
You
that
can put
point.
in like Prime
You're
Speaker,
crafting this-
yes, like
No, I'm saying you'll be crafting this deck and be like,
yeah.
too much.
all right. Now the next one, I'm pretty excited about.
Oh, are you?
I am.
Contain yourself, buddy.
Well, it has a colon and there's no tap symbol.
You
so
love
I'm really
colons.
excited.
All right.
All right.
let's
So
do it.
Profane Procession is 1 and Orzhov
Mhm.
for a legendary enchantment that says pay 3 and Orzhov to exile target creature. That's 5. That's a lot. Then if there are 3 or more creatures exiled with it, transform it. All right. So hard to transform. We're talking
It
18
is
mana.
it's a 15 mana investment plus 3 to cast.
Yeah,
the spell.
18
So
mana to flip
18 mana later,
Yeah.
we get
We get Tomb of the Dusk Rose, which is a legendary land that says add 1.
where does
tap.
it win the game?
Doesn't.
Which one of those?
It doesn't.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Tap to add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool,
Okay,
or pay 2 in Orzhov. Tap, put a creature card exiled with this permanent onto the battlefield under your control.
So you're gonna steal their mediocre stuff that you.
Well, it doesn't
exiled.
have to be mediocre.
Okay, all right. If you're playing this on curve, it's probably mediocre because you were trying to flip this thing. So the one thing I like about this is the cute tech is you exile their commander and they opt to move to the command zone, so it actually never flips. So you have a 5 mana exile their commander for the rest of the game. That's not good. Good enough.
I was going with you go infinite and you just get to exile the things.
Okay, yeah, okay. And I guess you get to cast one of them. It taps.
But they don't have any things anymore.
Oh, okay, yeah. You killed all their creatures and you got one of them.
Yeah.
Of all the things you can do with infinite mana, that's pretty timid.
It's a little
That's pretty timid.
Yeah, it is. It is. I don't know. I like it. I think it will see some play. It's not going to see its. What is your take on it, Spiky McSpikerson?
EH application is weak.
Agreed.
Like that's my.
I mean, isn't the EDH application
Lock
for
that in.
Orzhov technically weak?
No, they have like
They have Tesa.
they have Vindicate.
I stand by. They have Vindicate. That's all that matters.
Yeah, not 99
Anguish
cards to
and
go.
making Vindicate. Not really more.
Utter
Utter
End.
End. Thank you.
Yeah.
I almost said Mortify.
That's a good card.
Yeah.
No,
No.
I like
No,
Morph.
no,
All right,
I don't like
all right. Moving on. Next one is Storm the Vault. For 2 and an is it, or not an is it? I'm sorry, 2 and is it? You get a legendary enchantment that says whenever 1 or more creatures you control deals combat damage to a player, create a colorless treasure artifact token. It's the treasure token. We've seen these. At the beginning of your end step, if you control 5 or more artifacts, transform Storm the Vault. Okay.
Click it. Click the button. Click it.
Hey, enter that card.
And obviously, at this point, it has now. It's over here, and it flipped.
Yeah.
It's much better now.
Yeah, other direction. Yeah. When you flip it, you get Vault of Katlakan.
Nailed it.
Yeah. This, yeah. You add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool, or you can tap to add 1 mana, or a blue mana for each artifact you control.
Oh, that card sounds really familiar.
That card is banned in EDH.
That card
Dang,
is actually banned.
Let's turn it into an enchantment that flips over.
So
now
it-
it's legal.
So it is a Solarian Academy.
Yeah.
It is easy to flip. The one thing that I was having a tough time with is what is the deck that this goes in?
Well, I believe you
Brea.
have that deck, and I have that deck.
Rhea.
There are eggs builds. There's
Yeah.
Brea builds. Every build, there's a bunch of egg builds that says, what? I now get its land.
Yeah.
It's actually not that difficult to flip. It is.
Well, I mean, I think only the Brea eggs builds. Or, no, you have an eggs build with
yeah, I
the
have Argent.
shifting
I have
flame. Yeah.
Argent and Shifting Flame eggs build. Absolutely going to slot this one in. Granted, okay, so Talarian Academy.
Yeah.
Banned because you played on turn 1.
Right.
Yes.
And you can go ham on turn 1.
Right.
So this is
play on
much,
turn 4.
much milder by comparison. Guys, don't go out there and be like, oh my gosh, I have a Talion Academy now. It's legal.
Yeah.
This card is, the power level is significantly worse when you're playing it on turn 4.
Yeah.
It is. Or maybe turn 2 if you're ramping like our Mo.
It's definitely not Talion Academy. I'm actually not that excited about this card.
Yeah. I'm excited for the 1 deck to slot this in because it's a great blue mana source.
No, it's Brea.
You're like.
I mean, like
Brea.
Your assessment of this is put it in Brea.
Name a blue-red general that's artifact based.
Well, he plays Argent as his eggs deck.
Not necessarily artifact based though.
Isn't that what's required of this to flip?
Absolutely, you're right. Yeah. It just so happens my Argent list is absolutely artifact centric.
I mean,
but the commander's not.
I look at it as
you're right though.
This
is a great Brea card.
I think this is a Brea card, and I think
but beyond that, it is not great. And guys, don't go spend a bunch of money.
Maybe there's a Brea.
Yeah.
This fake Talion Academy.
That is a true statement. It's not that expensive right now, but all right. I think the next one, I'm gonna let Snapmaster over here talk about this one. I'll read it off for you, but I think you're gonna like what you hear.
This is
Yeah. So Journey to Eternity is 1, a black and a green. For a legendary enchantment aura, you enchant a creature you control. When it dies, you return it to the battlefield and return this to the battlefield flipped. When it comes back, it is Otzal, Cave of Eternity. It taps for 1 mana of any color, and you can pay 3 black and a green to return target creature card from graveyard to battlefield. What are your thoughts?
Gush. This card is turn 1 tap land, turn 2 secure tribal order, turn 3 this on it, sack it, get back secure tribal order, get this back. It's a ramps. Yep. It's absolutely ridiculous. Personally, I think this card is amongst it's the best flip card, I believe, actually.
I think so.
Yeah, it's the best one. And the fact that it's 5 mana on a land, reanimate a creature, ridiculous. 100% ridiculous. 100% immediate in the 99 of Marin. Anything that's green-black, I think, plays this card. It's an insurance policy on a creature that turns into a reanimation spell on a land for that exact creature that you're insuring. So I don't see a downside.
Yep. Nikki?
That card is amazing. It is absolutely one of the best flip cards, if not the best flip card. Watch out for an EDH. It's going to be everywhere, and it's going to be great. Yeah. Do you guys remember Grim Backwoods? Terrible. Yes. Golgari activated ability. Look out for that one.
Yeah. This is a real good card. It is going to see play in all of the applications and things that we haven't even thought of yet.
Any reanimator.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be all over the place. I think Marin is the biggest shoe-in. If you have a Marin,
absolutely.
If you have a Marin deck, put it in now.
Absolutely.
All right, so next up we have a pseudo cycle. I don't like calling it a cycle because we have one color missing.
Blue.
So the
Sucks to suck.
Yeah, the Forerunner cycle. I think you might see some of these. So we've got Forerunner of the Coalition, Forerunner of the Empire, Forerunner of the Heralds, and Forerunner of the Legion. They are for pirates, dinos, merfolk, and vampires, respectively. When each one enters the battlefield, they basically search for a creature card of their type, and put it on top of your library. Tutors, not bad. The pirate one also, whenever a pirate enters the battlefield, each opponent loses 1 life. The dino one, whenever a dino enters the battlefield under your control, it deals... Is it 1 damage? You may have it deal 1 damage to each creature.
Enrage!
Yes. And the merfolk one, whenever a merfolk enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on it. Interesting. And the vampire one, whenever a vampire enters the battlefield under your control, your creatures get +1/+1 until end of turn. So, Timmy, hot take on this. These.
They're an okay cycle. Obviously, you have to be tribal to even justify putting these in your deck. But it's notable that Forerunner of the Empire, the red dino-centric tutor, goes ham with Polyraptor.
Yeah.
I believe you get 8 Polyraptors when you just cast a Polyraptor after you tutored it up with your Forerunner of the Empire. So it's pretty cool. The other ones I'm sure they all have pretty good synergies. I find it odd that the Merfolk one gives you +1/+1 counters. The Vampire one gives you +1/+1 until end of turn. I feel like that's an indication of how they were trying to build those tribes and the power level of those tribes. But these are pretty good tribal cards. But beyond that, I would play them in tribal. They tutor up your best tribal creature.
Yeah. Snaps.
Not a fan of dinosaurs. Not a huge fan of pirates, seeing how they're a very, very mediocre tribe nowadays.
Yeah.
Merfolk is also still growing in the green era, so And then the white one was what exactly? Vampires?
Yeah.
That one I think is the best one out of all of them. It's weird claws that gets +1/+1. I think that's playable in the newly released Markov deck.
Yeah.
Okay, so trash, Markov.
I will agree with 2 of your assessments, 3 of your assessments.
Just individuals.
Yeah, the pirate one, Garbo, because pirates is not going to be
Pirates, unfortunately, is terrible.
I don't like the Merfolk one because it just grows itself, so you're making one tall Merfolk. Like, that's not that value. The vampire one, Markov has the ability to put out so many vampires. It's ridiculous. So I think that will get there, growing your whole team.
Well, it's 1 a turn, or it's 1 per cast of a vampire. Right?
What, that he puts out?
Yeah, he puts an extra 1 out per cast of a vampire.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is a big deal.
Which means
so wide
they all get +2/+2.
Yeah.
Right.
One of your impacts go +2/+2. Yeah.
And the Dino one, because of all the enraged triggers, I actually think that's going to be good. Because I think Dinos is definitely going to be a deck. Because there's 2 viable commanders for it.
Yeah.
So I think that's totally playable in Vampires. But yeah, Pirate and Merfolk, I don't think so at all. All right. Trapjaw Tyrant is our next up. Trapjaw Tyrant is a 5/5 Dino for 3 white. He has an enraged trigger. Exile target creature an opponent controls until he leaves the battlefield. I'll start off with this one. I have no idea. How's that?
Indifference?
Yeah, like, I think some games this is going to be bananas.
Yep.
And some games this is going to be just horrible. Because, I mean, the minute that it dies, I mean, somebody can bolt it after it's already got 2 damage on it, and then it just everybody gets all their stuff back. You know what I mean? It's subject to the same thing that O-Ring is. Like, it's good, it's not good. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
It reminds me a lot of like Angel of Serenity, which people played for quite a while when it came out. But I also Angel of Serenity obviously puts cards back in your hand, which is a huge upside as opposed to putting them back on the battlefield.
Yeah.
I actually do not like cards that when they die
Correct.
put things back into the battlefield.
I'm a fan. Or I'm sorry. I'm the same way.
Yeah, I do not like that at all. But that being said, this is a 5-mana 5/5. It's Dino. It's in tribal. It's a rage trigger, allows you to control when it happens, as opposed to generic ETB activation.
Yeah.
You can activate it on their turn via any kind of mechanic that deals damage. So you have a lot of flexibility there, which makes it a bit on the upside of me not liking it. It's a fairly good Dino. I would probably play it in Dino Tribal.
I think it'll go in Dino Tribal, absolutely. Yeah. All right, next one is Radiant Destiny. It has Ascend. You choose a creature type when it enters the battlefield. It costs 2 and a white. And creatures you control of the chosen type get +1/+1. And as long as you have the City's Blessing, they have Vigilance. This has been talked about for EDH. I'll start off and say I think this is horrible.
I, as a Timmy, would agree. I generally don't like anthems, and I generally hate this one.
Markov all day.
I mean, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
There's other anthems. I mean,
yeah, this one specifically gives them all vigilant. Like you have so many vampires.
Yeah, if you have
I'm saying Markov, like turning the City's Blessing on is super easy. Super easy.
Yeah, I agree, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm just not excited about it. Like, it's not.
Fair enough.
Yeah. All right, next one is Time Stream Navigator. Again, a card that people have talked a lot about, but we'll see. It's a 1/1 human pirate wizard types.
Got them all.
For 1 and a blue. It has Ascend. You can pay 2 and 2 blue to tap it. Put it on the bottom of your library. Take an extra turn after this one, and you can only do that if you have the City's Blessing. Timmy.
I don't like it. It requires a lot. It is a small creature. This is a time warp that is asking you to try and abuse it, but it's a time warp that requires you to meet a bunch of criteria before it actually works.
Like letting this live.
Also, it needs to live a whole turn unless you give it haste. So why not just play time warp unless you're trying to somehow abuse the fact that it's going to the bottom of your deck.
Yep.
It's got to be some sort of like weird janky creature build.
Yeah, there's like I know Grenzo
like
does that.
Creature,
but
like,
do
I
I
don't
want to
understand.
build around this in Grenzo? I don't think so.
No, you don't. All right. Next up, we have Twilight Prophet. Twilight Prophet is 2 and 2 black for a 2/4 flyer vampire cleric with Ascend. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you have the City's Blessing, reveal the top card of your library and put it into your hand. Each opponent loses X life, and you gain X life, where X is the converted mana cost of that card. I love this card. I think this is amazing. I think this could easily see play in any black deck because Ascend is going to be easy to have happen. I think it's basically EDH's Bob.
No, 100%. I as a Spike, I completely agree with this. I've always wanted to play Bob in EDH for the Spike factor of me.
Yeah.
I'm like shit. 2 mana drop, like crew value real quick, right? Problem is, even as a Spike, I play 6-7 drops. It's not worth losing 7 life to draw a card. 2 life any day. This is a 4 mana 2/4 flyer. Those stats are really solid for what this does, especially how easy it is to turn on Send. The fact that they lose life now, even better. This is gonna die a lot of times when it hits.
Yes, it will not live long, I think.
Absolutely, I agree. This card is excellent in EDH. As long as you get Ascend online. Otherwise, the 4 mana 2/4 flying is a little bit underwhelming, but it's still a threat. It's still a blocker. It still holds out until late game. It still threatens Planeswalkers. But once that Ascend is online, this card is basically you're rolling up the 6 mana Sorin, which is absolutely wrecking people.
Yeah.
And that is a great ability on a 4 mana card.
Yep. All right, next one up is Polyraptor, and I'm not going to say a whole lot here other than reading the card because we're just going to go straight to
I have no comment.
Nikki. So we've got a 5/5 for 8, 6 and 2 green. It's a dinosaur. It has Enrage, and it says whenever Polyraptor is dealt damage, create a token that's a copy of Polyraptor. Hey, there's a train leaving, headed to Magical Christmas Land. Can you tell us about it?
Oh, let me tell you. Let me tell you about Polyraptor. Go online. You can find a lot of algorithms based on how many Polyraptors you can gain by activating Pyromania.
Yep.
People get it wrong. It's a hard card. There's a lot of math involved. But let me tell you, Polyraptor is MVP Timmy card of the set. Polyraptor is absolutely insane. You love making a million versions of Polyraptor. It works really well with the Forerunner. Like I said before, if you do this up with Forerunner and then you cast a Polyraptor, you can stack the triggers such that you get 8 Polyraptors off of 1 cast while a Forerunner's in play. Very good, pretty much. Getting 20 power, pretty good. Actually, it's more like, 40 power.
Hey, not a Timmy? Go buy Ether Flash. I'm done here.
Was I supposed to speak about this card?
I mean, if you want.
No.
No?
8 mana 5/5. Suck a dick.
A little harsh.
Yeah.
No interest.
All right, Crafty Cutpurse. 3 and a blue for a human pirate 2/2 with flash. When he enters the battlefield, each token that would be created under an opponent's control is created under your control. Spike.
Well, it hard counters Polyraptor.
I don't want any
It
tokens.
does hard counter.
I don't want any tokens. Pass.
You don't want any tokens?
Agreed. This is a very narrow card, and I don't see why I would put it into a deck.
Yeah.
For whatever reason.
I really enjoy the fact that this card was designed. I'm glad that it exists. It feels like, a checkbox. Like they made Containment Priest.
Yeah, it feels like the antithesis to
kind of
Containment Priest,
right?
And you just want Containment Priest instead.
Yeah.
Yeah. To avoid a reanimator.
So probably no go. All right, Spike. We're queuing one up that you might like.
Hey!
All right, so Dire Fleet Daredevil is a 2/1 human pirate for 1 and a red with first strike. When it enters the battlefield, you exile target instant or sorcery card from an opponent's graveyard. You may play that card this turn, and you may spend mana as though it were mana of any color. And then you exile the card instead.
2 applications immediately. Cutthroat, what's that guy? Nekasar. Cutthroat Nekasar decks who wield constantly with the Grixis colors constantly. You have access to basically more utility with him. It's just like, play him, play another wheel from their grave, play another draw spell from their grave. It's just good. Mono red needs these kind of effects. Very, like...
Yeah, I agree with that.
2 mana, ETB, cast a blue spell, draw cards. Like, you need this kind of effect in mono red for EDH applications. Other than that, that's what I got for it. But the point is I really, really like this reverse Snapcaster effect. Yeah. I feel like it gives the red color something, gives it an edge. Like the whole dual caster print back in the day, or back with the...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like the dual caster printing was like a huge thing for red. I think this is another huge thing for red.
Yep. Timmy?
Yeah, this card is awesome. It is another Snapcaster, and it's a great one at that. I believe the original Snapcaster was supposed to be red, but the person who was designed after very hardly lobbied that it become blue. So they ended up switching it to blue, but this may have been what it was like originally. I'm glad to see it. It's an awesome card, and I'll be playing it in a lot of red decks.
The lack of flash makes me sad.
Yeah, that is the one downside. First strike for flash is a pretty awful downside, but still.
Where it's positioned, maybe not in EDH purposes, but where it's positioned is solid for what it is. 2 mana, 2...
No, I mean, it's still a good card. I'm not saying anything against it, but I really missed the flash on it.
Yep.
All right, next up is Blood Sun, 2 and a red for an enchantment that says when it enters the battlefield, draw a card.
Yay!
All lands lose all abilities except mana abilities.
Another mono red hoser. I'm all about this card. All about it.
Yeah, I mean, I like what it does in synergy with some lands. Like some people have already come up with lists of every single land and what this does. You know, and it interacts with it. I like that it replaces itself. I'm not excited about this card. It is going to see play.
Yeah, for sure.
You are going to face this card. Don't depend on utility lands too much and not have a way out.
Does your EDH group currently play Blood Moon? If it does, then they'll also play Blood Sun. If your play group doesn't play Blood Moon, they probably won't play Blood Sun. They might try it out, but it's going to have the same amount of negative reaction. And
the same?
Oh, absolutely. This negates fetch lands. So if you're in a 5-color deck, you can't do anything while Blood Sun's out.
True, yeah.
These are the same kind of cards that are going to get you chased out of EDH groups.
Yeah.
More of the casual ones. If you're competitive, or this has implications outside of EDH, obviously. But if you're in a competitive one, it's pretty good too.
Yep. All right. Next card is Release the Wind. For 2 and a blue, you have an instant that says exile target non-land permanent. For as long as that permanent remains exiled, its owner may cast it without paying its mana cost. So, this is a weird flicker with delay. I personally like this a lot. I think that this is an interesting way to maybe save one of your creatures, especially if you're playing in a storm deck. You can save one of your creatures, like a Gutter Snipe, and then your next turn, bring it back out and then try and go off.
Yeah, it doesn't shock me that you like this card a lot. You run that Tanos Coffin crazy nonsense that allows you to basically put a creature in your back pocket.
Yeah.
It seems a lot like that. Maybe the biggest applications here is that you cast it on your own creature to save it from board wipe. But it is versatile in that you can hit one of their own creatures. The fact that they're not allowed to, they can pay, or they don't have to pay mana to recast it, makes it seem pretty soft in the fact that it is a flicker. So more often than not, you're going to use this on your own creature.
But it is non-land permanent.
It's weird.
So it's not
you
got
to put it on an Eldrazi to get your cast trigger again, I guess.
Do I really need to acknowledge this card? Because it looks a little janky for me.
Yeah,
it is
too much text.
Same on this card. Just say it out loud real quick.
All right.
Say it. Just read the top.
Brass's Bounty.
Brass's Bounty.
Garbage.
So for 6 and a red, you have for each land you control, create a treasure token.
It's very interesting. It reminds me a lot of the Boundless Realms green card, but obviously you're going to use it in a deck that wants to have a lot of artifacts in play.
Yep.
So obviously it's going to go into the Revel and Riches deck that somebody's building.
Yeah.
And then beyond that, it's maybe in Brea or something like
Adam's like, I've had a list for like 3 months.
He's like, I've been waiting for this card my entire life.
No, I mean, the Rebel and Riches deck obviously uses it. I think that you can also get value out of this in like a Rakdos Artifacts build, like if you're building like a Duretti-centric deck. Because sacking, just basically, this spell becomes free.
Yeah.
And
your artifact count increases
and then
by
you
7.
sack 7 artifacts to cast something else of value, and you probably get you're hoping to get triggers off of what's the thing with the Fabricate with the 4 counters on it?
Marionette Master.
Marionette Master.
Yeah, you're trying. Yeah, this is obvious. Oh, I'm sorry, Spike. You have something to say.
You
My
have your
hand's
hand
been raised. It's been raised for a hot minute.
Spike, you have the floor.
Yeah.
If you're casting this on turn 7 in an artifact deck, you're doing something wrong. Turn 1, Soul Ring, Mana Crypt, cast. You get one. The point is.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. It's actually anti-centric.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, okay.
Thank you.
Yep. You are absolutely right.
Burn, roasted. Let's go.
It'll see play, just very minimal. All right, next one. Slaughter the Strong. Slaughter the Strong says 1 white for a sorcery. You get each player chooses any number of creatures he or she controls with power total power 4 or less, then sacrifices all other creatures he or she controls. This is a board wipe for 3.
I actually like this card a lot. Misread it the first time.
Yeah, me too.
In EDH, for 3 mana, add all your creatures up
Yeah,
to
I thought
4.
it was Retribution of the week or whatever.
Yep.
Like,
add it up to 4, call it a day. They got an Elistron with an army of people. They sack everything except the Elistron, or blow everything except the Elistron.
yeah, I mean, not really my wheelhouse. This is efficient, though.
Oh, it sacks too? Fuck.
I got to admit, this card is pretty good. They've been printing these less than 4 mana board wipes with downside, but this is a downside that you can build around.
Yeah.
So that's one you can abuse.
Yep. Next card up is Mastermind's Acquisition. Mastermind's Acquisition is 2 and a black for choose one of these 2 modes of a sorcery. You can either Diabolic Tutor, or you can choose a card from outside the game and put it into your hand. And I'm going to start off by saying it's a Diabolic Tutor.
This is a second
because
copy.
we don't play with sideboards typically. Some play groups do. And it's important to know that you have to... The rules for EDH are you have to have a discussion as to how that second ability work with your play group. Before you can play it. So...
Power level varies widely with, your mileage may vary.
If your play group is like, any card you own, great. Play this card every time.
Yeah.
If they say, only sideboards and none of you run sideboards, never play this.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much it.
Yeah, it doesn't give you the ability to cast a card that you fetch from outside the game, so why isn't it already in your deck?
Yeah. Alright, so Silverclad Ferocidons is up next. This is an 8/5 for 5 red dinosaur. With Enrage, when it's dealt damage, each opponent sacrifices a permanent. Nikki Bullis, take it away.
This one is a fairly decent Enrager. It's not as fantastical as Polyraptor and Magic Christmas Land. But this one is it's a pretty oppressive mechanic. But at 8 mana, 8/5, it's an okay beater. This is an Enrage. 7 mana. Yeah, 7 mana, 8/5. The Enrage mechanic is pretty strong against multiple opponents, but even in EDH, making them sacrifice a single permanent is not powerful enough.
Yeah.
You need to trigger this 4 or 5 times before they really start to feel the effects in a negative manner. Yeah.
7 mana, 8/5, garbage pass. Like, I'm sorry, like I'm not. It's. I already told you I feel about Enrage. I'm not. It's not great.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I like this card, but I don't like it a lot. It's fine. It's gonna be a bear to play against if somebody gets all the stuff online that they need to. All right, next up we have Wayward Swordtooth. This is a 3 mana 5/5 dinosaur, so 2 and a green. It has Ascend. You may play an additional land on each of your turns. Wayward Swordtooth can't attack or block unless you have the city's blessing. I feel like you might have things to say about this, Spiky.
Terrible Azusa, worse Oracle multi-pass.
Fair enough.
I agree. This is a 3 mana exploration that eventually becomes a mediocre 5/5.
Yeah.
Pass.
I think that it will see some play only because I think it's going to be a budget version of the 2 cards that Spike mentioned.
Yeah, yep.
But no, it's not very good. I mean, it's maybe late game at big body, and it lets you play an extra land.
It has application in a dinosaur deck.
Yeah, dinosaur deck. Yeah, I mean, that's fine. All right, next up we have World Shaper. World Shaper is for 3 green, 3 and a green. You have a 3/3 Merfolk Shaman. When it attacks, you may put the top 3 cards of your library into your graveyard. When it dies, you can put all lands from your graveyard onto the battlefield tapped. Timmy, what do you think of?
This card's great. It's going to see a lot of play in EDH. It has applications in Dredge decks. It has application in Lands Matter decks, Land Sack decks, Borborygmos. I mean, obviously, Splendid Reclamation was an okay card, but this one enables itself, so it's a better Splendid Reclamation. So as long as it enables swing once, it's gonna do a lot of work.
I agree. I mean, Sidisi is gonna love this, obviously, because it does what Sidisi wants to do. Plus, it has payoff later in the game. Borborygmos, good point. You're gonna be able to get all those lands back that you're pitching. You can pitch a land to kill this. I think it's definitely got some decent synergy. Spike?
The effect on a creature I like a lot. I think that any kind of dredge deck or self-mill deck, like you said, Sidisi, potentially even Marin might see some sort of like weird application for this because green-black is the 2 main dredge colors. So I feel like it has like application there.
Yeah. Okay, next one we're going to go through real quick because I think I'm probably the only one who has anything to say about it. Famished Paladin is 1 and a white for a 3/3. It doesn't a Vampire Knight. It doesn't untap during your untap step. When you gain life, untap it. This has an infinite combo with some cards.
Resplendent Mentor.
Yeah. Other than that, who cares? So yeah, put it in your life gain deck. Maybe in a Karlov, you can put both of those cards in there. It is an infinite combo, but it's not a particularly exciting one. I mean, basically gains you infinite life, and that's it.
Yep, agreed. I don't know why we're talking about this card. It only has it only has a single application.
It does only have a single application. Pitiless Plunderer is our next one. For 1 black and 3, you have a 1/4. Whenever another creature you control dies, create a treasure token. Timmy?
It is the antithesis to Revel in the Riches, which triggers when your opponent's creatures dies, which makes it an interesting and some kind of like sack your own creature build. I do like the fact that Black Market is too slow of a card to kind of combo off, but I can defer to Johnny about talking about the combo applications of being able to get mana every time you sack a creature.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely good. I actually do like it more than Black Market. Even though Black Market does give you the mana every turn, this is a little bit more potentially explosive if you have some kind of sack outlet and some kind of recursion. I think this will see play. It's not going to see a ton of play, though. Spike?
It's like a weird Spawn Sire Ulamog.
Right, yeah.
It has different applications because it makes artifacts itself that sack themselves. So I would say I don't compare those 2 cards as being the same, but they definitely have similar applications. One being artifact related, one being not, like more of a death centric death centric deck.
All right. Next up, we have the Immortal Sun.
That's a mouthful.
Yeah. For 6 mana, you have a legendary artifact that says players can't activate Planeswalker's abilities.
Boo.
At the beginning of your draw step, draw an additional card.
Okay.
Spells you cast cost 1 less.
Okay.
And creatures you control get +1/+1. We'll start with the Spike here.
This card is, like I said, a mouthful.
I
It
have
kind
no
of
idea.
it does a lot. Players it's really funny that it hoses Shannon or
Walker decks?
Yeah, like it just.
Whoa, hold on, come on. Walker.
So hear me out. I don't know what the MSRP on this card is, but if you cannot afford Planeswalkers,
MSRP is pack.
huh?
It's currently listed at $7.
$7. I'm sorry, the retail, I guess.
Yeah.
The retail on this card is $7. If you cannot afford a deck full of Planeswalkers, go buy this card. Because you're essentially just saying, I'm buying a card that I can't...
And then it shuts off Walker decks?
Yeah. No, so hear me out. You're paying $7 for 1 line of words. However, The next part, draw two. Draw cards. Your spells cost 1 less,
right?
And all of your creatures get +1/+1. This card is just like a, haha.
To me, this card is just super hard to assess. Like it's clearly good.
Yeah.
How good it is.
It's weird. I don't know. It's 6 mana for weird effects.
It's really weird. Like they don't seem to go together, but it's just kind of like value all over the place.
It's 6 mana for this. I think is what is everything else is a plus.
The loyalty ability.
The loyalty abilities is what you're paying 6 mana for. Everything else is just kind of like I get a +2 to it. Like I get things added on to me saying no planeswalkers work.
Yeah. If you're in white or you're in red and you're using Staff of Nin, this card is strictly an upgrade. It does what Staff of Nin needs. It draws an extra card. It causes your spells cost 1 less, and it creates your creatures to be more aggro. The Planeswalker thing is a bonus, but be careful, obviously, if you're in a Planeswalker 1. But everyone's going to upgrade their Staff of Nin to this card.
It's a weird, like, backwards Ward of Bones. Like, this weird... That's what I feel from it. Like, Ward of Bones says, like, your player... Like, opponents can't do things based off what you have. This is, like, your opponents... No one can play this. I get all this. Like, I don't know. It's weird. For, like, 6 mana. I don't know.
All right. You're going to see the Immortal Sun. Yes, pick them up. Maybe wait for the price to drop. All right. Azor's Gateway is a legendary artifact for 2. You pay 1, tap it, draw a card, then exile a card from your hand. If cards with 5 or more different converted mana costs are exiled under it, you gain 5 life, untap it, and transform it. Okay. Weirdest flip condition ever. And then you get Sanctum of the Sun, which says tap to add X mana of any one color to your mana pool where X is your life total. We're going to start with Timmy on this.
So the front side loots, effectively.
Yep.
Of course, you can't use the cards in your graveyard because they're being exiled.
Yep.
And you have to loot with this in mind to flip it. So it's not bad on the front end because it's just a loot engine, and that's great in decks that need to get rid of lands and that kind of thing. But you have to loot fairly decent cards or cards of differing mana costs. When it flips over, that's bananas. I'm sorry. Add X mana of one color to your mana pool where X is your life total. So you're adding like 20 to 40 mana on average on a tap.
Yep.
And then if you can untap it, okay, you did it. You won the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this card is pretty great. Look out for those Brazilian ones where they accidentally printed the wrong backside on the front. So pick up some of them and try and flip something a little easier into this side and just blast your EDH group.
All right. Spike, you have anything to say there?
Not really.
Yeah. I think it's going to be super hard to flip. A lot of people are going really high on that card, but I don't. I mean, I really don't see it that much, but yeah. You'll probably see some people play it. It's not going to be that great, in my opinion. If they get it flipped, it's going to be bananas.
Wah, wah.
Yeah. All right. Last card, everybody, is Arch of Arazka. It has Ascend. You can tap it for a colorless mana for the Wingding, or you can pay 5 generic, tap it to draw a card. You can only do that ability if you have the City's Blessing. What do you think of this?
It's a land that draws a card.
It's a land that draws a card.
I'm saying most cards that have this kind of effect are like 2 mana and it's asymmetrical. Everyone draws a card.
Yeah, Murkakoro, everyone draws a card.
Or it has a loot
Gaia
effect.
Reach, Sanitarium, everyone draws in this cards.
Yep. 5 mana, I draw a card. It's a little steep. I think it should be like 4 mana, roughly. That's where I look at it. But then again, like, it's still a land that draws cards. Like, if you have a colorless slot, why not throw it in? I mean, there's going to be games where they're drawn out.
I mean, I think this is only going to really work in, like, a control shell, where, like, you're basically just sitting back and, like, waiting to react to people. Oh, okay, nobody did anything to threaten me? Draw a card.
Yeah.
You know.
Obviously, this is going to go in the colorless decks as a great upgrade over a Wastes, but beyond that, your group has to be pretty casual for you to be able to pay 5 mana to draw a single card. Like, that was what you did your turn. Yeah. Unless you're playing Draw Go and you can use that as your end of turn effect. Beyond that, it's a fairly decent casual EDH upgrade that everyone should be picking up for their decks. Being able to draw a card off of a land is pretty rare. So look out for this card and pick some up for your casual EDH decks.
All right, guys, so that is it for our set review. Like we said, we will catch you next time. Make sure to follow, like, subscribe on all of the social medias. We are the Trinisphere. hit that bell icon on YouTube. Again, we are brought to you by tappedout.net. And until next time, stay brewing, my friends.